Hello, guys and gals. It is I, the Monster, and today we're doing our first movie review in a very long time. Today I'm reviewing Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. I would have pulled out a Donkey Kong figure, but he's trapped in my shed somewhere, and honestly, I just didn't feel like digging him out. Anyways, so I saw this movie 2 days ago, and I have a lot to talk about. I'm a huge Godzilla, Kaiju, Tokusatsu fan. If any of you remember back in the day when I used to do some of these videos, I put a little bit of Godzilla stuff in there. There's a little Easter egg, especially if you look on the shelves. But I've always loved Godzilla. Godzilla was always my guy. However, I've also always loved King Kong. And I don't know, man. Let me get this out of the way first and foremost, okay? There's going to be spoilers in this review because in order for me to discuss this film and review it properly, I need to spoil it. So I just want to put that out there right now. If you're like planning to watch this movie, I really would recommend you don't watch this unless you don't care. I mean, I would appreciate it if you watched it. So, yeah. So this is the second movie, technically the fifth movie in the Monsterverse, and it's the second movie directed by Adam Wingard. And I had a lot of questions for Adam at the end of this film. I wanted to know how many cups of coffee he drank during the directing of this film. I wanted to know if him and the writers were doing shots. I mean, I just had a lot of questions. So here's the dealio. I like this film. I think it's awesome. I think it's a wild, fun film. I think that it nails what it's trying to do. However, for me, I felt like the story was really all over the place. And I don't mean in like that zany kind of kaiju way. I mean it in a way where it's like, dude, I didn't think it had to be this much. We're going to get to it. So anyways, first and foremost, I also want to talk about how like Rebecca Hall's back, Tyree Henry, the guy who plays Bernie's back, and then they have this new character played by Dan Stevens named Trapper. And I think Irene Andrews, the character's fine. I think she moves the plot along good. I think I don't really have too much of an issue with the actors in this film. I think Bernie, the guy who plays Bernie, is hilarious. This new character, Trapper, I don't know if he's Australian or if he's British. He's like a crazy kind of like huntsman. He fixes monsters. He's like a doctor. He's kind of interesting. And then they brought back the young kid from the Kong. Godzilla versus Kong. God, it's hard to keep up sometimes. Godzilla versus Kong, who could communicate and talk to Kong. I don't know if she's using sign language or if she's talking telepathy or what. I'm looking at something. I apologize. She's a part of I wanted to make sure I got this right, the Iwi tribe. So the Iwi tribe is like this extinct tribe, and we were told about it, how they obviously had interactions with Kong and all these other things going on. We're going to get back to that. But the thing is like the center story of this film is that there was a signal that went off from Hollow Earth, which is between the center of the Earth or something like that, and it's signaling all the monsters to come to it, and they're saying it's like a stress beacon, like there's something's asking for help, and it's kind of like this convoluted like weird story of like this new evil orangutan or ape monkey thing named Scar King, who's like super cool, by the way, and he's just this like brutal savage kind of like dictator kind of character, and he's got all this new tribe of subterranean monkeys that are like doing all his bidding for him, and there's like this ice titan Shimo, and Shimu's really cool, but like I didn't see the show, so I didn't know if they're in the show or not, and it's like an ice dragon thing. And I just thought, okay, like, this is cool. They set this guy up to be, like, a real piece of garbage. And, like, his mannerisms are weird and a little demented. And when, like, Kong actually, like, encounters him, it's like, okay, you get, like, the vibe of what they're trying to do. Like, Kong is still very human in the way they portray him. And he's also, like, very understanding. But he's also, like, yo, like, I ain't gonna bow down to anybody. Like, I'm gonna whoop that ass. And I really like that they kept it that way. They actually introduced this new monkey. His name is Suko. God, I'm getting their names mixed up. Suko, and Suko's almost like Kong Jr. And he's cool. He's got his moments in the story. But obviously the big thing is you want Godzilla, right? Godzilla's going to show up and team up with Kong, and they're going to whoop this guy and they're going to do their thing. And you got the human characters going after the signals and all this, jazz with the Hollow Earth. So where this story gets really messy is that they have these wormholes throughout throughout this film that were introduced in the last movie, and they lead to different parts of the planet, really. And they could pop up anywhere. They could pop up near major cities or wherever these things are. And there's so many of them that they don't know where they are. Where all of them are. So the problem with this is it's just okay, we're gonna go here. 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 It's dude, holy moly! I just want to watch these monsters, these CGI monsters, beat the crap out of each other. You know what I mean? And the human plot in this movie is just kind of I don't know. It's just odd. In the past, I have stood up for the human plot. I still think the one in King of the Monsters is fine. I think it's weird. You kind of see who lived by the Toho stuff and who's kind of jumping in with this MonsterVerse stuff. They're just very tonally very different, but you could see which directors are more inspired by the older films or not. And it's it's just I don't know. It almost felt like they didn't have much to do, but they did. And the writing wasn't, to me, was not that strong for those characters. But the big point that they're trying to lead the humans to is that the girl of this Iwi tribe, is basically supposed to unlock something that will awaken Mothra. Now, up until this point in the marketing, they've never shown Mothra. The only people that know about Mothra are people that like to spoil movies, aka dorks. And basically, I didn't even know Mothra was in this movie. And I went with my family, and my mom was getting really sad actually because she really wanted Mothra. But it's funny because Mothra has been this big conversation. It's well, how do you just get rid of Mothra in the last two in King of the Monsters, Because Mothra is such a huge component of the Godzilla stuff. But I'm happy to say that she's back. She looks... I don't know if they redid her design. I'm sure someone will correct me. But she looked great. I definitely had... There was some Rebirth of Mothra vibes in there, if you know what that is. And that was the whole thing. And Mothra's whole purpose was to guide Godzilla to Kong, essentially, and say, listen, this is what's going down. Kong needs your help. Because Kong gets his butt whooped. Kong gets his hand frozen by Shimo. And then, for some reason, he gets, a infinity gauntlet on his hand. And I'm just convinced that there's an executive out there that's yo, dude, Kong needs a weapon. Kong needs something because Godzilla's so big and has atomic, breath and all that. But, I don't really feel like Kong needs any of this stuff. Don't get me wrong, the axe is cool and they bring the axe back. But, the fist is funny, but it's also you sit back and you look at it and you're does a giant, killer gorilla really need a metal gauntlet? Anyways, apparently they thought so, and it's in the movie, and it's a whole thing with the film. But yeah, so the main thing is that all of these monsters at the end of this movie are going to beat the crap out of each other, right? So you have Godzilla, you got Kong, you got the little Kong now, I'm forgetting his name already. You got Scar King, you got Shimo, and somehow, some way, they fight in Hollow Earth, and they're going upside down, and it gets a little kooky. And then they get to the above Earth, above ground, and they fight there, and then there's the big final showdown, and there's this whole thing, and it's a really fun movie. Again, I think people should go and see it. I think it's really cool, and I'm so happy that we live in a time where this is taking off, and the monster movies and the MonsterVerse is this big thing. I've never in my entire life thought that this would happen. As far as pop culture and fandom goes, Godzilla has always been my first thing, my first love, and I've always loved it. And it's always been this weird thing to talk about in public or whatever, but seeing it now and how it is, it's interesting. But then you've got all these different pockets of people that are always bickering about the Toho stuff and the American stuff. It's just different, man. The American stuff is definitely more action-y and over the top. But you just gotta turn your brain off and have fun with it, man. It's a movie, So, I've talked about the story. I thought the soundtrack was actually killer. It's funny, my family said this, but ever since Guardians of the Galaxy came out, everybody's trying to take all of these 70s, 80s jams and coming up with the masterful soundtrack. This movie's got a very interesting soundtrack. I think there's I think Judas Priest is on this or something. It's an interesting one. And then I also I have to talk about something that we'll get to this first. First, I want to say that the design for Godzilla in this movie is awesome. He's very inspired by Millennium Godzilla with the purple or pinkish fins from 2000. And in the movie, throughout the movie, he's absorbing different titans and he's gaining their energy and then he evolves. So they give him this new form and he looks cool. But the problem is like Godzilla's like honestly not really in the film that much. He's in the movie for like, I don't know, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes. Like it's not enough. And I hate to complain and be that guy, but that is the truth. Like, to me, this very much felt like a Kong sequel. Not that I have a problem with it. I love Kong. But if you're going to make a Kong sequel, just call it, like, Godzilla Kong, I don't know, Kong's Quest or something. That sounds like Donkey Kong. What am I doing? But you get the idea. So, I don't know. I just felt like that was, like, really, like, aside from the story stuff kind of being a little messy, very messy, and the Godzilla not being in the movie a lot, that was some of the stuff that kind of bummed me out. And the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet was just, I don't know, man. And then this is the other thing, and this is the dorky nitpick, right? So, like, with these kinds of movies, you want them to set something up, right? And I said to myself, will they do it? Because they really haven't been setting anything up. There's little seeds in other movies, but they never really did anything with too much of it, except for King of the Monsters did. I just want them to, like, shoot off a signal into space and get Gigan or Space Godzilla involved. But here's the thing. This is the kick to the balls for me. The area in which the Scar King lives, and I believe the Iwi tribe, whatever they're called, live, they're in a subterranean area. You know who would have been an amazing, amazing callback, or at the very least we get a nice teaser? This guy, Megalon. This is one of the most popular popular monsters by the fans, and he hasn't been in a film since 1973. They just did a fan CG film with him where he looked incredible, but he has not been in a movie in years. He's from, I believe, Atlantis or something, but either way, subterranean area, hello, he's a giant beetle with drills for hands. Like, come on, dude. So I just want them to, like, I wish that they would just set things up like that, and they haven't done that. But by the end of this movie, you have Kong, you have this little Kong guy with I keep forgetting his damn name. I apologize, guys. And they're in Hollow Earth together, and like everything got resolved, and they fixed the whole issue. They eliminate Scar King, they save Shimu, and then Godzilla kind of just pisses off, and Mothra kind of pisses off too. And it's just like, I just wish they set something up. If at the end of that movie, like a beam went off into space, or like, I don't know, like maybe somebody's inventing a jet jaguar, or they're setting up a Hedorah, like garbage. I don't know anything. I just feel like they should have done it regardless. I think this would have been the movie to do it, because now the direction is like, okay, you have these pieces in play, but I have no idea what the hell you're gonna do with it. I just hope whatever they do next, the next Godzilla movie is a straight up Godzilla movie. I love Kong, but I think it's time for just Godzilla to do his thing. And simple is king, simple is the best sometimes. I love crazy and weird ideas, but I think this was a little bit too crazy. And I would just like them to keep it old school. Like, let's just set the story up, have a nice human story, get Godzilla, get a bad guy or two or whatever, and let's go. Let's go to town. Hell, bring I don't know. Bring King Caesar back. Bring Ibra, the giant lobster back. Bring Manda back. Bring Angirius. Where has Angirius been? Jeez Louise. So anyways, guys, that is my review of Godzilla X Kong, the new Empire. I dug it. I thought it was cool. It's got some flaws for sure, but I mean, whatever, man. You're in for it. You know, when you're watching these movies, you know what you're getting. And I just think this one was a little, I would say out of the 5 Monsterverse ones, this is on the lower end, but it's still a fun film, and I still enjoy it. I like all these Monsterverse movies. So anyways, guys, thank you. Please like, subscribe, share, do what you got to do, ring the bell. I don't know how this stuff works in 2024. I'm still figuring it out. And that's it, leave a comment. Thank you for watching. I appreciate any support. And peace out, guys. Bye. Let's see if you can get me in the shot this time. Godzilla!